Hey guys, how's it going? So, the buff batch has been out for a couple of days, and I had pretty high hopes for it because I thought some of the changes would be pretty darn good. The Armin and Destina buffs really interested me, and I thought that they might actually have a great place in the meta. They might help de-escalate the amount of aggro that we're currently seeing in RTA, and might be really, really good units to add to your roster. But I think I might have been completely wrong, actually. I think this might be the most wrong that I've actually been in predicting what kind of units might be good after a balance patch. So I built both Armin and Destina, and I also have something to talk about for most of the other buffed units as well. But so I geared Armin like this. Let's start with her. So first I tried her as an Aureus holder, and as an Aureus holder, she was okay. She was decent. She has some really nice things. Being able to cleanse is really useful. This is good against a character like, let's say, Peyra or somebody like that, where you're getting some debuffs on you and they're not actually disabling this unit from cleansing. But, you know, it's pretty useful to be able to take some of that stuff off, or maybe take off Belion's debuffs, or maybe a seal from Arctic Mercedes. That's useful, right? However, the shield it gives, this barrier, is miserable, to say the least. It's unbelievably bad, so it doesn't really do much there. And the increased defense is nice, but it's not really that big of a deal. This ability, it's nice, but it feels like it just doesn't do enough a lot of the time, and also sometimes it helps your opponent. So I didn't completely max it, but it feels like it wasn't really going whatever I'd want it. My opponents seemed to have too easy of a time able to play around it, or they would have immunity, or they just wouldn't be attacking her at all and it wouldn't proc. So running her on Aureus and not Elbrus makes it so she's not really doing too many counterattacks. The damage reduction is huge though, which is really, really nice, but it's only on single attacks, keep in mind. So against some like Cleave or Belion, for instance, it's not really doing a whole lot. And also the counterattack was sometimes bad, where if I picked her early in the draft, my opponent would just say, okay, I'm going to pick ML Sirmia and maybe even Rowana, and they would just wail on her the entire match and I would lose. So it actually felt like it was a detriment to my team a lot of the time. And, you know, 35% chance to stun this was really nice. I actually liked that, but then you think of a character like Peyra, who's giving more mitigation to the team and has, I mean, a higher chance to stun and soul burn 100%. Felt like a bit much over poor little Armin here. So I swapped her to Elbrus. That makes her better versus insanely high aggro or Cleave. Didn't really feel too impactful. I mean, it's complete RNG. You just have to hope that you're getting a counterattack, and then you have to hope that you're stunning priority units. But the thing is, against a character like, let's say, Ran versus Cleave, he just puts immunity on the entire team turn 1. So it doesn't really do a whole lot. Felt very unfortunate. So I think Armin's okay, but not really anything too special is my initial impression after trying her out for a while. Now let's talk about Destina. So I think I built a decent Destina here. Keep in mind in RTA she gets an extra 15 speed, so you know I have an alright amount of speed on her. But it just feels like she's almost impossible to use, honestly. You look at her skill set and it sounds really good. Her S1 is whatever, but this ability heals. It revives, it cleanses. That sounds like, wow, it does almost everything at the same time. It's kind of like a Maid Chloe, except instead of giving the attack buff and revive, it revives dead allies and heals them. That sounds good, right? But it doesn't actually heal that much. Now, if I maxed it, it might be healing for like 8,000 or so, which is, you know, decent, but like, it's a long cooldown, and a lot of the time you're not going to be able to use it at the best possible moment. And the revive I found to be almost completely useless in almost every case, because first of all, it revives them where they died. So if they're not going to get the next turn immediately and your opponent does, they're just going to die again. And second of all, this is terrible against characters like Politis, and I found people would pick Politis very often versus this unit. Especially if my opponent's cleaving, they usually pick Politis almost immediately in any draft. So they would revive and instantly die. Overall, it felt like this ability wasn't really doing a whole lot for me. And this ability, it heals a little bit, which is nice, and pushes by 50% because I have that EE. But it it just didn't really do a whole lot. Overall, Amelia is literally just better than Destina in almost every conceivable way, in my opinion, because Destina also has terrible base speed. With similar gear on Amelia, she would be so much faster. Destina only has like 89 base speed or something. And so I put this on, and with her passive that gives an extra 60%, she would start with, like 260, 270 effect resist or something. And I mean, that's nice and all, but I feel as though my Amelia, who's built kind of similarly, just does more in almost every way. I think the attack buff is a bigger deal. I think Amelia's S3 being usable more often is a bigger deal, and I like the shield. Overall, I think Amelia is just a much better character than Destina. I hoped that this character in Armin would be really good going into this super aggressive meta, but I find both of them to be a bit lacking, honestly. I'm kind of disappointed, and I wish I didn't spend so many resources on them, really. But now let's talk about some of the other buffed units as well. So first we got Silverblade Aramintha. I haven't really used her, but people keep asking me about her, but let me just say this. They didn't really change much with her. The only thing they did, realistically, is give her this CR push. And I don't think the CR push really matters. I mean, it makes her better at what she was already good at, but you didn't really see her picked all that often, and the only time you will ever see this unit picked is probably near the very last pick, and then she's probably going to get banned because usually the person is just going to ban whatever you last pick anyways. Because you don't want to pick a unit that they can just easily deal with. You want to pick a unit that your opponent can't fight against, and if they're vulnerable to this, they're just going to ban it. So she's almost never really going to see play, and I mean, she's a fun unit to use, but it just doesn't really help her usability at all. It just makes her better at what she was already good at. So I guess it makes her easier to build, but overall, I really don't think it's that big of a deal. Dark Corvus, I didn't try out. I think almost nobody tried out. He's still as boring as ever. Not really that big of a deal. And I mean, the damage increase is so negligible, it barely even mattered. And his S1 heal, I think, is 6% of his max health. I don't really think that people care all that much. Dien. So I've actually seen a couple of Diens. I actually think Dien may have gotten one of the best buffs out of everybody. Just that little buff to her S2, I think is exactly what she needed to be a lot more useful. I think if the meta slows down, she's going to be great because she usually was in the meta anyways, even though Rimuru exists. But yeah, nice change. I think it's good. I don't think she's as good as somebody like Amelia, for instance, but you know, not bad. Oh, by the way, one note. Armin and Destina are also both grass units, and they just instantly die to Hua-Young. So, you know that unit that's in every single game of every single match unless they're permanently banned? Yeah, they don't do so hot versus that unit that's in every single match on your opponent's team. So that's a bit of a problem. Next is Aramintha. So I actually don't own Aramintha. However, I've heard some decent things about her. I think she's a very hit or miss character. She relies on a lot of RNG. She needs to strip your opponent's buffs and land unbuffable to get her extra turn mechanic. I've heard her shield from her S3 is 120% of her attack, which is actually quite a bit, especially since she gives herself attack buff. That's actually going to be a really, really big shield. I think maybe building her as a bruiser could be kind of cool, but haven't really seen it too much. It's very hard to use these characters that are just kind of cool in this current meta, because usually you need to be very powerful. I have seen Ludwig a few times. I find his damage to be about the same. I think it's kind of disappointing. I think the stun on his S2 is, you know, nice, I guess, the utility, but it really just doesn't do that much. The soul burn on it is cool to have, but I think a character like PBK usually just does his job better overall. And then Guider Aether. So the weirdest thing happened with him is it's almost a nerf in some ways. So they buffed his utility to the team. He pushes an ally and gives attack buff. But the nerf they did is his S3 does a lot less damage. You used to be able to soul burn it for a ton of damage, and now you can't. So he gets the utility but loses damage. I'm not really sure how I feel about that overall. And you know what's funny? I've seen none of him overall. I think some of these characters are just much too difficult to use. They require investment that people don't want to really put into them. And they're not that great. Like, if you're not using a character that's insane right now, then that character at best is going to be like a 5th pick, and then maybe just get banned. So it's really hard to use these characters. Last but not least, I would like to say Kali. So I think Kali is alright. She's like a budget anti-Hua-Young type of character. She seems alright, but the problem is she doesn't have enough damage to just straight up kill Hua Young. She needs like attack buff and stuff, she needs proper setup, the opponent needs to not have mitigation. I think a character like Kisei just does her job better. However, Kali is much easier to build than Kisei, so I guess that's a big benefit. But overall, I think that this buff patch was actually kind of a huge disappointment. I was really hoping it would be good. I thought it was going to be good, and I guess I was totally off the mark. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I think usually I have a decent idea on whether the buffs are going to be pretty nice for some of these units or not. But I was way off the mark on this one, and I really hope that the next one's going to be a lot better. For the rest of the video, have a few clips of me using Destina and Armin, and thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you guys next time. So probably just S3 her, right? I would expect. Yeah. Oh. Okay, I'll take it. I think before he gets defense buff, I just want to use this, honestly. He has so many souls, though. I just don't know if I will be able to survive. Wow, 5,700. Oh my god. Wait, he didn't revive? That's it? He's gone? Oh. He's just gone now. Okay. Wow. I didn't really expect that, actually. So, with all these souls, they're probably just going to go for her, right? Imagine if they dual attacked right there. Wow, that was really low damage. I have no mitigation on my team. Wow, they literally have to use everything on her. Well, that was pretty good for me. Alright. I guess I do actually get a nice amount of mitigation from this. Hey, cut that out. How many does this cleanse? 2 debuffs. Oh, please hit. Come on, hit this. Nice. And now he's put vulnerable here. I didn't want to go for the revive there because I think they would have instantly died right after. Oh, wait. I'll just go for the win. I was thinking of bringing her to revive Sirmia to then have her activate Sirmia. Oh, that could have worked. Alright. So he's kind of a weird team right here. You don't really see much Last Rider Crow anymore. And he has all this attack buffing stuff for a unit that doesn't really scale with it at all. It really just comes down to, can I protect Landy? Yes or no? If he doesn't have enough burst to really get her insanely low, I think I'm going to be able to survive. We'll see, though. Oh, that's a pretty good start. My Quirk didn't get pushed back. Even if he did, though, he would have been less pushed back than everyone else. So, not too big of a deal. This is going to hurt. So my Armin has not countered yet, despite having a really high chance to. Which is interesting. Which is definitely interesting. I think it's possible I should have used the S2 first there. I kind of just wanted the big heal, but I think S2 would have been smarter. Let's get rid of her buffs, hopefully. Okay. So now she's pretty vulnerable, and we have a shield on Landy to protect her. Now we start laying into him. They just took a lot of damage. Wow. I think I'm going to save the shield so I can reapply it, actually. Oh, nice little duel. Not too bad. I actually have a lot of cleanse on my team. I have 3 cleansers now that I think about it. I feel like there's no reason not to just try and CR push, really, right? 50%? That's kind of insane. Wow. Okay. Wait a second. Maybe I should build a much tankier Landy or something that's slower and just use Amelia and Destina as the pushers or something. That could be kind of interesting. Huh. I can shield her again. I just figure she'll take a lot less damage from both hits, you know? Yeah. If you're stealth, you take half damage from AoE. So, I think I may as well try that. So, they actually have the push, but... Oh. Uh-oh, he has that up. My Destina has her S2 up, so he kind of has to kill me. As fast as possible, right here. Last Rider Crow doesn't have his S3 either. Oh, he gets the double hit, which kind of sucks, but... I think it's totally fine. Maybe go for the stun? No? Oh wait, that just killed her. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I kind of just have too much sustain and support. I didn't stealth, which is a bit of a problem, but we're almost getting an extra turn instantly. Wow. I'll take it. Where's Armin's counter? You know what? That's a good question, seeing as I have a 24% chance to counter every single time I'm attacked, and yet it doesn't even happen one time out of like 8 matches? There's something very odd about it. It almost feels like it doesn't work as intended, but I could be wrong. Well, that worked out pretty well. Destina actually had a really good showing there. Okay, counterattack. If we get a counterattack, we could possibly stun his whole team. I don't think he even wants to use the S2. I think they're scared to. I wouldn't. I have 2 counterattacks. Yeah. Okay, counterattack this Charles. Let's get a double counter on him. Right here. Violet Talisman. That's actually really scary. I'm never going to hit him. Double counter. Come on. I can't really say I'm surprised, but I'm still disappointed. Oh! Oh, get punished! Okay. Wait, we hit him, but it didn't do anything. I think we hit him at least. Okay, well... Yeah. Oh, yeah, don't counter it. You do it when you're ready. That's fine, too. Uh-oh. Oh, you know what? That actually wasn't as bad as I thought. Let's do this. How do I feel about injury SSB with Bloodstone? Not the biggest fan. I'd rather go Lifesteal. I think it's way stronger. Alright. We hit Charles again. Nice. Wait, we didn't provoke either of these. So I have 2 50% CR pushers on my team. That's kind of awesome.
I'll block everything.
Now. Okay, we got a little heal. I'll take it. We're actually recovering a lot of this damage, but he hits like a truck, and he's also on Violet Talisman, which is a really big problem. We might be able to do this. Destina also has a revive. He's really scared of Amelia. He's trying to take them out. He knows going for Blind isn't really going to work, especially with the defense buff. I think I want to save S3 for the debuffs that are coming my way. I think it's a little bit safer. Stun? Wow, that's actually pretty big. Wow. This seems really weird, but I think I might push up my Destina so that I can then push up my Belian. You know? I think this actually kind of works out. His Charles is getting pummeled. He is not very fortunate here. Is this thing effect resist? It hasn't been debuffed by anything. What is going on? This is gonna almost kill her, probably. He hits like a truck. Okay, actually it wasn't that bad. Wow, this CR push is insane. Wait, if you have both of these characters, you just take so many turns. Oh my god. Maybe it's a strategy, yeah, to have a really slow, tanky, strong DPS, and you just support them with both of these units. Wait a second. Maybe that works against aggro.
Come at me. I'll block everything.
Huh. This is really interesting, actually. I like this. And double lots comp except with real units? Yeah, exactly. And you also have a lot of, like, anti-aggro stuff with that, too. And I didn't even use her S3. By the way, my Destina's missing a bunch of molas. Wait a second, this is kind of nice. I don't even really need too much effect resist on my Amelia here, either. Oh my god, we're actually getting them. We're getting the counterattacks, too. I think we just hit and killed him. It just lagged so hard. Yep! Oh, man. Okay, wait. That was actually pretty cool. I like that.